everybody! Welcome to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Chris,
I'm Russ.
and Russ's name is actually this is episode 232.
232 back in the
I'll
virtual
fix
nerd
that right
basements,
now.
guys. Welcome back. It has been a cool couple of days here in the Motor City. It got really hot, and then we got this cool front moved in. It got nice and pleasant for the last couple of days.
It is a beautiful spring day today.
Absolutely. Well, it's actually summer now.
I know, but it's a beautiful spring day.
Well, yeah, of course.
We finally got spring now that it's summer. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was actually a gorgeous day. I had the windows open all day while I was working, and it was absolutely...
Yeah, it was pleasant enough at the studio today.
I grilled.
Oh yeah, I saw your post about that. That's nice. Little asparagus.
Asparagus, right? Burgers, steaks, and then a veggie burger for.
Because slowly integrating that beef back into your diet, huh?
Not slowly, dude. It's full on back in. I had a steak tonight.
You didn't get any kind of discomfort from doing that? Oh, it's been a while.
Not at all.
Really? Some people I know, man, they go a long time without eating beef, and then all of a sudden they try and do it again, and then all of a sudden they're getting like horrible stomach cramps.
And that was something that Renee was worried about, but she was concerned that I would get, and nothing.
Apparently, your body genetically wants you to eat cows.
Yep.
That's good for you. So how was your week?
That was all right. Actually, right now, first thing, I want to say thank you to our latest follower, Tellison11.
Yeah.
We got another follower.
Welcome.
So eventually, hopefully, we won't be able to do this every time, but, because we'll have more and more followers joining and following us. But, I mean, right now, it's cool to be able to call out, one or two new ones. So yes, thank you, Tellison11. And then remember, if you aren't following us, you can always just click the follow button, and you'll find out. You'll always hear when we're starting up a show. So,
absolutely, guys, we are at that 44 number, guys. 44.
Yeah, 6 to go. 6 to go.
44. Let's get 6 more. Guys,
tell
your friends about us.
Is that an eyeball on your hand?
It's just a paint, trying to clear my airbrush. It's God damn it,
it's a joke, dude, because I'm catching up on Critical Role.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Is that an eyeball on the back of your hand there? Or are you just happy to see me?
Wouldn't you like to know?
But yeah, my week was all right. We had our game on Friday.
We did. Great time.
That was a good
little bit of a shopping episode too, about the last hour and a half.
Yeah, it was kind of a shopping episode, but you got to meet Borislav Botev.
Borislav
Botev.
As long as we are in great, gray hockey, will be our Gilmore or our.
This is Greyhawk. Fuck that bitch.
Hey. He'll be our used car dealer.
Fuck that bitch. This is Greyhawk. You met him. You met a few other people. You guys are still actually looking to do more shopping next time.
Right. I keep meaning to jot down some more of those details we talked about Merrick Harris's backstory, and I keep running into fucking difficulties. I'm getting busy.
Hey, CD.
Work and stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you got a long way to go. I'm on 127 right now.
CD, you're in. Wait a minute.
11 from the end, I think, something like that, or 12. 14 from the end.
Well, you seem to be moving along, because like you were like, Ford's got a vestige, and I'm like, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
I know where you're at now. That's really cool. CD, wait, now CD, are you on campaign 1 or 2? Because that's a lot.
Just realized the chat box. Wow, this all messed up from.
Oh, he's listening to Vox Machina. Oh, man, CD. That's so awesome. I love Vox. I love the Vox Machina story, because that's where I started. I've probably talked about this a lot on the show. I really enjoyed Vox Machina. I mean, Mighty Nine was great too, but I started with Vox, and I've got a certain affection for them. So I'm really looking forward to the animated series, because I really love those guys. Yeah, and yeah, I watched it on YouTube. I love that's what I did. You know, just watch it on YouTube. They've got them all there. They've even like you can pull up like a playlist, and it just pulls up all 120 episodes or whatever it is. Um. So yeah, we had our game on Friday. What else?
I had to work on Saturday. Um,
Right.
I'm getting the chat box set up.
Right. Last week, of course, we had Dave Kish on the show, and he was great. We had a couple of new, you know, we had to futz
There we go.
things around a little bit to rearrange the layout of the Twitch channel.
Yeah, what I didn't realize was that, but because of the way I did it, it actually messed with our show here. I didn't realize that because I created a different
Right. The
scene
format.
for it, and I thought it would just be on its own. But the way I'm still learning this program.
Right on. Well, I had a great week. I had a nice weekend at the very least. Last week, work got a little nuts, but and apparently due to OSHA, I've talked about the studio I work in is like a very, very old building and it leaks like a sieve. And every time it rains inside, or every time it rains inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of tarps basically on the ceiling that would collect the rainwater and bring it down through a tube into a receptacle.
Keep
And they
talking.
were
I'll be right
spread
back.
all over the place. They're spread all over the place. And unfortunately, it turns out that they are not OSHA compliant, and that the actually it wasn't OSHA, it was the fire department, that they are blocking the fire suppression system. So they all had to come down. So there's dust everywhere now, and dirt everywhere, and because of the roof pieces of the roof falling onto the tarps, and it's just been a mess. So now we've got to rearrange things. We got more rain coming this weekend, apparently, or potential rain. So we've got to prepare the studio for that. Loving it, loving it.
Those were
So
some hefty storms.
yeah, yeah. Sunday and Monday, Sunday particularly, had some pretty hefty storms. So so we did have some crazy storms, but I mean, we're
There we
moving
go.
along, getting started on just finished off a couple of minor projects at the studio. We're really moving into the new floats, and my friend Jade started, who is the partner of my friend Shadow. Shadow and Jade married partnership there
Mm-hmm.
in the studio, so that's been really cool. Um, and then I found out, oddly enough, weird kind of thing. The other day, I found out that a friend of mine is probably going to prison because
Okay.
he was at an event in Michigan here and stabbed 3 people.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he had like some kind of psychotic break, and you know, I'm not going to go into details and names or anything, but it's just really messed me up because I'm like, this is a friend of mine. This is somebody that, you know, I've known for a few years, and I've always liked him, and yeah, he's I guess he had some kind of freak out, and I don't know all the details, but it just kind of messed me up a lot because I was like, holy shit, this is really messed up that anybody that I would associate with, that I would be friends with, that I would admire even on any level, would be able to, even in a drunken stupor, or yeah, it goes hand. I don't know. I mean, it might be some PTSD. There was some rumors that he had expressed some um, like, I don't know. He expressed some stuff. There was also issues of maybe being on some drugs, or extremely drunk. I know this person has struggled with drinking problems and drug problems over the years. So I don't know. I mean, I probably shouldn't even talk about it so much, but it just really messed me up. You know, it's a buddy
Yeah.
of mine. You know,
Yep.
and somebody in the art community and whatnot here in the area, and so I believe he's still kind of in holding right now and is probably waiting arraignment, and he's being charged with a couple of different things. And I doubt he'll be able to plead down to too much. I mean, he's probably going to end up doing some jail time. Nobody died, thankfully, so
Yeah.
he's not being charged with murder,
Well, I mean,
straight up
if
murder.
he doesn't have a
Um,
record and all that, then he might be able to plead down a
but
little.
anyway,
And
that was messed up. On the other hand, my friend Liam showed up last night. He
You
was
hear me?
kind of drove into town and was like, "Hey, how would you feel if I crashed on your couch?" And I was like, "Come on in,
Can
man.
you hear
It's
me,
all good."
Russ?
So my buddy's Liam here. My buddy Liam is here for a day or two.
I
He's
guess not.
better known to some people, to a lot of the Ren Fair crowd, as Harmless,
Russ, can you hear
Harmless
me?
Danger juggling show. So he's here, and we were. Looks like Ghost
Okay.
Hand
I
said,
know you guys can hear me, but I don't think Russ can hear me.
Russ, he can't hear you. We can't hear you. Well, we can hear you. Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, no, Russ, you can't hear me.
Thanks, guys.
No, Russ, you can't.
It is kind of messed up. It's kind of messed up about the about my friend. So
You can't hear me, Russ.
I can't hear you now.
No, I don't know why.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? I can't. I can't hear you.
Well, that's gonna be messed up.
No, I can hear you now.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't hear me before. I was talking and you just kept talking, and I'm like trying to talk with you. And
sorry. You know what? I think I accidentally hit my volume control on my thing here. Sorry about that, guys. Russ is speaking, and you aren't receiving. Chris can't hear you. Cheer about it. We got it. Thank you, guys. I'm a fucking moron. I'm a fucking moron. I'm a fucking moron. All right. So, anyways, somebody, my friend Liam is here, and that's really cool. And then I got a phone call this morning for a friend of mine saying, my former roommate John, he's coming back into town. He had left out of state for a while. COVID basically forced him to have to move back to North Carolina with his parents, and then back at home. And then he contacted me today and was like, "Hey, would you mind if I maybe crashed in the basement for a week or two while I come back into town and get my bearings?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's probably fine. It's just, you just got to remember I'm going to need the space when Ren Fair rolls around, because I've got friends coming to town and stuff." And, unfortunately, Scott Mullen, who's been on the show several times, is not going to be able to be here for festival this year.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, he's taking the opportunities to hit some. I can carry. Thank you, Renee.
That's never been a problem.
Fucking, I swear, you know. Thanks, CD. I appreciate the backup. Yeah. Anyway, Scott is not gonna. He's gonna take the opportunity to hit up some conventions during that time.
Okay.
For his artwork and his T-shirt designs and stuff. So, put him up for film. Motherfucker. It's funny though. It's funny. So it was a full week. I did. We had our game on Friday. That was great. I actually had a bunch of people over on Saturday. Two couples, and Stella and I had kind of a small dinner party, and it was kind of nice, kind of relaxed.
A dinner party. Pinkies up.
We had, yeah, I cooked, motherfucker. Man, I spent all day. Made a
spaghetti, and your mashed potatoes.
No, you don't serve mashed potatoes with spaghetti.
Sure you do. Starch on top of starch, man.
But I did make mashed potatoes. No, I made a pot roast, and I made mashed potatoes, and I made a leek and cheese crostata that I've made a few times out of the Elder Scrolls cookbook.
Okay.
Not sponsored by us.
I gotta do something out of the Heroes Feast.
Yeah, I mean, that was my next. I was going to, but then I was like, I haven't done anything out of this yet, and I don't want to like cook this for other people before I cook something for myself out of it. So, but I made these some brown sugar and cardamom glazed carrots. That was really good. I made my like baked apples, and my friend's Monkey. It was Chris Perry, and you may know as Monkey, and Kelly, his girlfriend Kelly, and then Russ Turner and his girlfriend Holly. And so yeah, just kind of had a nice kind of little evening, and it was great. We just sat on the couches in my living room, and we just chatted for like 4 hours. We didn't turn the TV on. We didn't, it was just awesome. It's like, I really have missed that kind of thing. It was, I mean, comparable to when we got together to celebrate Michael last weekend, or the weekend before, just chatting and getting caught up and being in each other's presence. It was really nice. And then Sunday was, of course, Father's Day. Did you do anything special for Father's Day, Daddy-O?
No, I mean, my daughter called me. We took my dad out to lunch, actually over at Brown Iron. He actually works across the parking lot at the from it.
Your dad
So,
works at Panera?
yeah, he's a retiree. He's
Sure. Yeah, hey, right on.
but
No
yeah,
judgment. Just
so I got a growler.
oh, cool.
It was a Father's Day special. It was the growler, a glass, and the growler koozie. It said it was a travel koozie. I didn't realize it was for the growler, which is awesome. Um, and
Gotta love the word koozie. So
koozie.
koozie. So koozie.
But yeah,
Koozie.
so I'm drinking actually a beer that I got from them tonight.
Alrighty then. I just went and visited my dad, and we had a little barbecue at my sister and brother-in-law's place. So yeah, it was all right. My lungs are super irritated right now, guys. If I start coughing, I'm really sorry, but there's something in the air right now that's really irritating my allergies. Excuse me. So, hey, what are you drinking? So speaking of, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a beer, like I said, I got from Brown Iron Brewery, which it's not one of theirs. It is this lovely copper-colored ale. And I may have talked about this. This is one of the beers that I was drinking. I had several glasses of when we were out there celebrating Michael. This is a brand new beer to Michigan. It is Alpha King Pale Ale by Three Floyds Brewing. It is pale ales are one of my favorite styles. I really love them. I prefer them over IPAs because they're not quite as hoppy normally. This one has a little bit of a citrus aroma, and it has a great balance, I think, of hops and malt flavoring. It is quite malty for what it is, but you do get that hop flavor in there. I just think it's really well balanced. I give this one 4.5 bottle caps. I think it is absolutely fantastic. I am ecstatic that we can get Three Floyds here in Michigan. They are one of my favorite breweries, and I'm really looking forward to August when they are actually going to be on store shelves,
Right.
and not just in restaurants. So, yeah, I had another one of their beers, Barbarian Haze, I think is what it was called, the New England IPA. We were up there, which is funny. We actually had the same waitress, Renee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
She was pretty cool.
she was funny.
She was fun person. Yeah.
Um,
She still looks really familiar to me. God, I think I know her from somewhere, but I don't know where. It's pissing me off. So.
but yeah, but yeah, I really like this. If you can get Three Floyds, I highly recommend Alpha King. I think it's absolutely fantastic. If you like pale, it is superb.
Alrighty.
What about you? What are you drinking?
Well, going through one of my old standbys. Get me a little triple jam, guys. Some Blake's hard cider. One of my favorites.
The cider formerly known as Traffic Jam.
Correct. It's I didn't get the chance to run out and get something new this week, so grabbed it out of the fridge. Triple jam. It is an excellent cider. I mean, honestly, it just keeps getting better. I don't know if they keep adjusting the formula or what, but it is a lovely cider.
Lovely.
It's very nice. Had some triple jam tonight. Had some Rainbow Seeker the other night. Blake's really does put out a pretty solid product, so it's really pretty fantastic. So yeah, that's nothing complicated for me tonight. I'll have to get something new next week.
All right. Well, so what do you want to start with tonight?
Well,
Can I start with the game that just came out? That you were telling me about? Because I actually didn't realize that it actually had come out yet.
Okay, so this game just came out yesterday. It was released yesterday. It is the new Forgotten Realms. What's it fucking called? Hang on.
Dark Alliance.
Dark Alliance. Thank you. Oh, yep, there's the ad for it, right? I think Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance available on all platforms right now. It's available on the PlayStation 4 and 5. It's available on the Xboxes and the computers, and it might not be available on the Switch yet, I believe. But
Not really a
okay,
Nintendo style game.
not per not per se, guys. Unfortunately, it's not getting very good reviews. I saw a review on YouTube about it yesterday that stated more or less that it's a very pretty game. It's very there's a lot of, like, the levels have some variety in that there's multiple paths and there's ways to get around things, different stuff like that, but that it's still not very interesting. It's just not very um eh,
Well,
they weren't
it's
saying broken, but it's just not very good overall.
it's been billed as an RPG, but from what I've heard, it's not really an RPG.
Right.
You're not really. It's not. There's no text. The way they put it was, oh, there's no walls of text to go through and blah blah
Right.
blah. It's all the stuff that makes an RPG an RPG.
Correct.
It's more like just an action game.
hmm Now there is some RPG elements in that you can find equipment and items that you can enhance your character with. You can, as as your character levels up, you can develop like the skills and like your stats and things like that. But you are also playing. You're not playing an original character. You're playing one of the four classic characters from the Drizzt Do'Urden.
Jordan. R.A. Salvatore novels.
One of the most popular, most well-known canon characters from the Forgotten Realms.
I'm a huge fan.
Chris Darden. You know what? I have never actually read one of his books, one of the Drizzt books, but I have all of them in my other room because I bought, like 2 years ago, the collected editions, all 4 volumes. Because I'm like, I'm going to read these books. I've heard they're amazing. I'm going to go back and read them. And so it starts with, like, the original books that he showed up in, the Cleric's Quintet or whatever.
No, the Cleric's Quintet is not him.
No,
that's Salvatore's writing, but it's not actually Drizzt.
He's not in it. I thought he was
not
in
at all. Not at all. That's a whole different story.
I've been lied to.
None of those characters are in that one.
But it is specifically like the 4 volumes.
No, it's the Crystal Shard is the first one that he did.
Maybe that's it. Yeah.
And then he did the prequels, Homeland Sojourn and Exile.
Correct. Right.
And then he did a bunch of other ones, and I've read most of them. I think I may not have read like the last 2 or 3, but he's actually the first author I ever met was Salvatore. And yeah, and I went to a thing when I was down in Louisville. He came to one of the bookstores there for a signing, and he was super cool, just really cool to talk with. Just a great guy. He actually told everyone at the time he's like, yeah, I play WoW. He's like, I'm on this server and this is my character name. Look me up if you want. I'm barely ever on, but if you catch me on, let me know.
Wow. Can you imagine? Like, that would fuck me up, man. You'd be just playing WoW and you're like, wait a minute. My God. I think that's R.A. Salvatore,
So I've read a bunch of his other books too that I really enjoy, like the Corona world that he.
Right on. I've always meant, like I said, I've always meant to get around to watching it, and to reading his stuff, but I just never had the opportunity. So, but now I do, and like I said, I was able to buy all those books. Mm-hmm. Like I got them. I think Stella was working at the bookstore, and I was able to get them for a discount. So.
Yes. Hatterley, that's the character in the Cleric's Quintet.
Okay. So in this game you play 4 of these very classic characters from that story. It's Drizzt, and you get Caddy Bree is what I always say. Caddy Bry. There's Brunor and a dwarf, is Brunar is the barbarian.
No, Brunor's the dwarf.
Brunar's the dwarf.
Wolfgar is the barbarian.
Wolfgar is the barbarian. Okay. Yes, thank you, CD Wolfgar. And he has not read those. Oh wait.
No, that was me saying I have not read the latest ones where Catterley and Drizzt cross paths.
Everybody is blue right now except for Renee. So, and you have the opera when you're playing the game solo. Apparently, you can choose which characters to use. But I was also hearing is that this game is really built for multiplayer.
Yep.
And it is, you can solo it, but it is stunningly difficult. Like apparently really, really hard to solo this game. It's only $40, which is saying a lot for a brand new game
that tells me there's issues.
For the latest edition, for the latest.
That tells me there's issues and they know it.
Right. So that sucks, but the reviewer did say it's very beautiful. It's like, I mean, the characters look amazing. The animations for the characters are great. For the villains, the opponents and the characters, the cutscenes are really great. But overall, I think I'm definitely going to wait until the price drops on this game and maybe pick it up, for super cheap on Amazon or whatever else, because yeah, I'm not going to waste money these days or time on a shitty game.
Mm-hmm.
I
got too many other games to play.
Right, exactly. And some people would say, well, you did that with Cyberpunk, did you? I'm like, no, not at all. Cyberpunk is, and I'll stand by it, saying it is a good game. Particularly now that they've patched it. It just opened up with a lot of problems. They released it with a shit ton of problems, and they're still working through them. But I am looking forward to the new DLC that's coming. It did also, they just announced as of, I think it was yesterday, that Cyberpunk 2077 has returned to the PlayStation Store.
Yes. So it was actually over the weekend.
Right. But it does have a update. Wait till the update patch lower price even more. Right, exactly, CD. Thank you. I mean, I'm just gonna wait.
Yeah, I need to get back to doing Cyberpunk. I actually kind of stopped. I needed a break. I was at a spot where I was having trouble getting past it, and right. I actually think I need to go back and start at an even earlier spot, which means I'll probably lose some of what I've done, but just to get away from that mission and come back to it at a later time, because I don't know that I can take out the guy that I.
So yeah, they've really fixed the game. And it's really solid. I guess in the PlayStation Store, it does come with a caveat saying, if you buy this, buyer beware. If you're going to buy this and play it on the PlayStation 4, you may encounter some difficulty or some problems. It's best played on the PlayStation 4 Pro or the PS5. So, and personally, once I transferred my game and the game itself to the PlayStation 5, I encountered a lot less issues, and they've patched the living hell out of it, and it's a really good game. I think that game has a lot of potential too for growth. They could do all sorts of things. It's just a matter of, spending the money and doing it, Some other things, they did announce, speaking of D&D games, so I mean, if you want to try Dark Alliance, if anybody ends up giving it a shot and they like it or they don't like it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Hear your opinions, please.
Another D&D game that we've been patiently or not so patiently waiting for is Baldur's Gate 3. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 back in the fall did open the game up, but only about 20% of the map,
pay full price and get to play beta.
Right, and play beta. Personally, I felt like, no, I don't want a tease like that. I'm
not going to pay to play test the game for you.
Right, exactly. And plus, like I said, I don't want a tease like that. If I'm going to play that game, I'm going to play that fucking game, and I'm going to be neck deep in it. So I want to wait until the entire game comes out, the entire game is ready. And I'm not playing a quarter of the game or a portion of the game just to wet my whistle. Fuck that noise.
Yep.
So, but I am still going to play it because Baldur's Gate 2, 1 and 2 are some of my favorite video games of all time. Computer games, some of my favorite computer games of all time. So, I will be picking this game up, but I am definitely going to wait until it's fully open. They did say that unfortunately, because of COVID, the production was slowed down dramatically, and they're saying now that the game probably will not be out until 22, and it probably won't be out until like probably mid 22, if not later 22. So we're looking at least another year before we see a full release of Baldur's Gate 3. That being said, I've heard it's gorgeous. I've heard that from what they have so far, it's beautiful and it's incredible and it's going to be really great. They are really working to perfect this game before release, and I can respect that. I can certainly respect that. I just wish I didn't know about it. I want to beat my head against this table. I want my fucking video game. Same thing with like Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah,
know?
Exactly. Bloodlines too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But there's no telling when that'll be out.
Right. CD, honestly, if you want to go back and play Baldur's Gate, you can play Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 on Steam. It's the enhanced edition, or you can also pick it up for the PlayStation 4.
Just understand that
5.
It is way old school.
It's second edition D&D, and so it was released before third edition, and so you're still dealing with Thaco, and it is an older game. Now they did some updates to it, and they patched it. They've changed some. They've done some a little bit in the way of cosmetic updates, but nothing like.
No. It's still an old school.
It is. It's still an old school top-down
isometric. Maybe 16-bit at the time.
Oh, I think it's probably higher than that. But it was.
No, I don't think so, dude. It was old school. I wasn't saying it was 8-bit, but I think it might have been.
I think it was more than 16 because it's 20 years old. I think the first one is around 20 years old.
Which would put it in like the 16-bit. You got to remember how fast things have moved, dude.
Yeah, I suppose. Are you looking that up?
I'm looking it up right now.
I bought it.
It might be more than that.
Yeah, I think we're
okay. Yeah. So it's not even. So Baldur's Gate 2 was actually released in 2013.
Okay. So it's not even 20 years, but it's more like 15.
Well, the enhanced edition, I guess.
The enhanced, no, yeah.
That was released in 2013.
Mm-hmm. Well, the originally, I think it was released roughly. I think I was playing Baldur's Gate.
Atari that put that out.
I was playing, Oblivion. I think it was Obsidian. It was Obsidian Studios, and it was a division of Atari. And I was playing that. I think I was like 26 or 27, maybe 26 or 27. I remember distinctly playing it at my girlfriend's apartment because she had a computer that could run it, and so I just brought it with me because my computer could run it too, but I wanted to play it when I was at her place too, so I brought it with me and installed it in her machine.
I actually never played the second one. I played the first one, but never played the second.
See, I played the second one first, and then went back and played the first one.
See, I played the first one and then never actually got the second one. I actually still have all the old discs for the first one somewhere.
Wow. That's because we're old.
That's because we're old. Yeah. Yeah. So,
boy, that sucks.
Well, it's like my buddy. I was over at his house because we had our other game. I had my other game on Saturday, and I was over at his house before I went to work. And when his youngest son, his birthday might be today, and but he was like, "I'm like, how old are you gonna be?" He's like, 12. And I went, no, no, you're not. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna be 12. And I'm like, no, you're not. Because if you're 12, then I'm old.
Uh,
Oh.
we've established that a long time ago that we're old, Chris. I mean, we're just gonna have to
Yep.
live with it, I guess. I
Well,
don't
hell,
wanna.
I booked my flight down to Nashville for my granddaughter's first birthday party this week.
Oh,
That's it.
that gets her right in the fucking youth, man. Just like that.
Well,
Gets her
dude,
right there.
my youth has been kicked in the, got kicked in the nuts, and it's up there, up around his chest, or around my youth's chest, right. So
So yeah. So I mean, Baldur's Gate, like I
they
said,
do grow like magic. CD, I
they
agree.
do, yeah. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 originally released over 20 years ago now, and it's. I mean, I'll tell you though, I played the enhanced editions on Steam uh, like 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year. I kind of replayed them, and the game holds up, man. It still holds up because and those games were kind of the beginning of an entire like video game um kind of like style. Like I have a bunch of games like that on my computer now,
Mhm.
because they were the top down isometric kind of like angle.
You
And
got the Kingmaker,
yeah,
Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Pathfinder Kingmaker was that exact style. Let's see, I've got Baldur's Gate 2 Enhanced Edition. Let's see. I have Divinity Original Sin, which is the company, Original Sin 2, which is the company that it actually is making the new Baldur's Gate 3. The company
Yeah, that's
that
right.
made
They
this
are.
game. Larian, I believe it's called. And they also have it, but it is slightly different. It's turn-based as opposed to um, all of your characters operating at once,
Hmm.
real time. Let's see. I have Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition, which came out a couple years after Baldur's Gate 3, or I mean Baldur's Gate 2. And that one specifically, takes place in Icewind Dale, and it does actually feature Dristo Erden. So I also have Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is a newer, of course, game of that style. I have the Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, which actually feature the voices of Vox Machina in the game. I have Planescape Torment, which has long been considered one of the best games of its type. It takes place on the Planescape campaign of Dungeons and Dragons. I have Shadowrun Returns and Shadowrun Dragonfall and Hong Kong, which are both expansions of the Shadowrun Returns game. And I think I
Shadowrun
might
was an
have.
interesting game.
Absolutely.
Crossing cyberpunk and magic.
Oh man, I think I really dug Cyberpunk. It had a
You mean
kind
Shadowrun?
of, excuse me, yeah, Shadowrun. I really dug Shadowrun.
The,
It kind of had like from what I understood, if I remember correctly, the game mechanics were not the best,
no, they weren't, and
but the
fights were
setting,
ridiculous.
right?
We
But
actually just did a fight between a street mage and a street samurai, and
mm-hmm,
we're like, it's ridiculous. You
mm-hmm,
can't hurt the street samurai,
right,
and with the magic, and even then, it was like the fight took forever.
right. Oh, excuse me. But the setting was so fucking cool,
It
man. It
was.
was just really badass.
But if you put that setting into like more of a cyberpunk game,
Mm-hmm.
where it's much more realistic, where you get shot, you're fucked, that type of thing, and fights weren't nearly as long, I think it would be a better game.
Right.
It was actually one of the problems I had with Champions. You're a superhero fight, but the fact that if you got into a fight, it would be 5 hours for that fight, 3 to 5 hours each
Oh,
for
for
any
champions,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And 2 hours in, you'd be like, all right, the cops show up. Well, it's only been 8 seconds.
Right.
And they're like, what? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. They don't show up. It just feels like forever because it took us 2 hours to do 8 seconds.
Well, sorry.
Because somebody's got a goddamn 12 speed.
Right. The problem with that is, as well, is the hero system was a very complex system. So if you don't know how to play that system, it would slow down, so slow everything down. So the thing is, if you had, like six people in your party, six, seven people in your party, and everybody knew how to utilize that system very well, and it could go really smooth. But
You would think that.
invariably there is at least one or two players that are not familiar with the rules, or maybe this isn't their normal character,
Or,
or
dude, I'll tell
they
you what,
they're
it didn't
just
matter.
drinking,
It didn't matter. We would have all nighters where we weren't drinking. We were just drinking. We were drinking Jolt Cola,
Yeah,
and they would still be 5 to 6 hour fights. I mean, it was ridiculous because there were probably 8 of us in the group, but it was a huge group. But still, it was absolutely crazy how long those fights took.
yeah, I agree.
Plus the fact that you are a superhero, so you don't. It's tough to knock you down.
Right. Well, the hero system was very malleable too. You could pretty much create or do whatever you wanted in that system.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you had to maybe get some different supplements to kind of help with certain things,
Yeah.
but because special effects are free, you can do whatever you want. So, say you wanted to have a character that was a flame throwing, like say the Human Torch, a flame character with flame. So you could buy, because it was a point buy system, and you'd buy those powers using a certain number of points that you have in your character
Dude,
creation. And so you would buy general energy blast, you would buy, energy rings, you would buy force field or something like that. And that was those general powers, but then you added on the special effects of it being flames. So your general energy blast became your fire blast. Your
mhm.
energy rings became rings of fire. Your force field became like the Human Torch's fire heat force shield that just blocks things, like burns things away before they get to it. And so it could become, that was just one example of how malleable the system could be.
You could seriously min max in it.
Oh, for sure.
And
It
there
was
was one
definitely.
guy that, oh my god, it was ridiculous. He had a character who had a multi power, but we used to joke around about the idea of, oh, hold on, that's on page 47 of my multi power, because I swear to God, what he had was like 50 different variations on that multi power,
Right.
and he would just pick which one he wanted for that situation. And we're like, that's not how this works.
Right.
You get to pick a multi power that has these abilities, and that's what you have. You don't get to say, well, I want this multi power this time. But yeah, he was constantly flipping through pages and pages of a legal pad for his character.
That's ridiculous. I've played in Champions games a few times over the years, and the hero system is, like I said, it's extremely adaptable. It's probably the most adaptable game that I've ever seen, particularly when some of the later editions, or the earlier editions. Um, it is extremely malleable. Like I said, you can create and do just about any
Well,
character in
they
the
actually came out with a fantasy version too that
They
me and
did.
my
They came
buddies actually
and they
played for
came
a while.
right. They came out with a modern edition too, and there was like samurai edition. There were all kinds of different like supplemental things that they came out with that. But it wasn't necessary. If you were creative enough with the game rules,
Hmm.
you could make Darth Vader, you could make Superman, you could make Green Lantern or Iron Man, and all of these characters were possible if you had enough points to spend. Because that's the other thing. I mean, it was a point buy system. Um, you could get more points as you progress. You could, as you didn't have a typical leveling up kind of
Hmm.
situation. In this game, you had a progression of your character abilities. So you could, if you were a superhero and you had like a weakness, you had a like kryptonite, you could eventually gain enough points that you could buy out that
Yep.
weakness, and suddenly you're immune to salt water when before it would burn you like acid, or you no longer had to fear a particular arch nemesis because you had gotten rid of that particular disadvantage. So that was pretty cool too. You know.
Yep. But anyway, back to what we were talking about though with Baldur's Gate and all that. And as far as video games go, right now, I mean, with everything being so delayed, the next one I can think of off the top of my head isn't that I'm really looking forward to is Far Cry 6, and that doesn't come out in October.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, they did make big announcements this year. I mean, I think we've already talked about it about Starfield because last week was E3. We talked about it in last week's episode with Dave Kish. Sorry, I'm so yawning. I noticed my energy level just dropped. We they did make an announcement too about blah Starfield. Blah, blah, blah. So Starfield is going to be coming out on November 11th of 22, and it is going to be a Xbox exclusive on the consoles. It will be available via Google and the various computer type of services. You'll probably be able to get it on Steam and whatnot, but it is not going to be available on the PlayStation 5, which is got people really fucking upset. But then again, we also kind of understand, though, there's only so much you can do. And Bethesda or ZeniMax was bought by Google, and Google now owns ZeniMax, and then ZeniMax then now owns everything, or the Google owns everything that was ZeniMax.
There's a matching Wikipedia result for you, Russ.
Apparently my phone heard me. Yeah, it heard ZeniMax and it pulled up the ZeniMax media. It's an American video game holding company based in Rockyville, Maryland. Thanks, I guess. Thank you, my very, very capable and
thanks, Wiretap.
Able assistant. Always thank your phone, man. You never know when the robot, or uprising happens. The AI, the AI uprising.
Yeah, I worship at the Church of Google, so
there you go. There you go. You're safe. You're fucking safe, man. Not me, man. I gotta thank my fucking devices.
Yeah, but at least you're still Android. You're not the Apple abomination.
No, fuck that. In the wars that come, I shall fly the flag of Google, the multicolored rainbow flag of Google. Yes, that's right, friends. Join the Google army. We have cookies. I don't know. I bet they do have cookies though at Google. I bet.
Well, look at how all their stuff's named. It's like lollipop and ice cream sandwich and.
I thought that was. Oh no, that's right. Apple does
donut
animals. Don't they?
They do animals. So Google, it's all like sweet treats. So that's what they got.
Oh yeah, they got cookies, man. So should probably move on, guys. So check out if you want to check out Forgotten Realms, Dungeons and Dragons.
Dark Alliance.
Excuse me, Dark Alliance. Check it out and let us know if you like it. I mean, like I said, I'll probably get it eventually, but I'll probably wait until it goes on super sale because I think it is going to be.
And we'll probably take you guys' opinions more seriously than what we'll take.
Oh, absolutely.
The actual people out there viewing games.
Yeah, for sure.
But so another thing that dropped today is the new trailer for Suicide Squad.
Correct.
Sorry, the Suicide Squad.
Correct.
And all I gotta say is I want to see this movie.
Yeah, for sure. I think this one's going to be a big success.
It looks so much better than the first one.
Mm-hmm. We get a little more hint into the storyline because in the previous ones we've just
And
seen
it,
a lot of like
well,
independent scenes and hit or
yeah,
miss and quick
and
hits and
this
stuff.
it looks like it actually has a storyline, unlike the first one.
Right. Apparently they open with Amanda Waller offering the character of Bloodsport, basically, who's played by the very incredible what's his fuck
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. Thank you. The incredible Idris Elba, and basically blackmailing him into joining the Suicide Squad.
They talk about
And,
how he's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
yes, exactly. Which is pretty close to the comic book, actually. If I remember correctly,
Very
in the
Batman.
comic book, Bloodsport did shoot Superman with a kryptonite bullet, and they did have to take him to the emergency room. But they were able to, and once they extracted the bullet, he started healing fairly quickly, and they were able to, he jumped back up fairly quick. That's the thing about Superman. He doesn't have like radiation poisoning for days. I mean, it's like you get the kryptonite out, he's back in the
get
game.
it out in a way, and he's
Get it out, get it away. He's back in the game. So, and to back at the thing that really is disappointing about Dark Alliance is Disney Dungeons and Dragons is poised for a huge video game like bump, and this is going to probably not do that for them this time around.
Yeah.
So maybe Baldur's Gate 3 will. Who knows? So, but anyway, so yeah, we do see a little bit of detail about the ongoing story, and then like he basically is confronted with the fact that they need him and his team of suiciders to.
He doesn't want to join the team, and
right.
They basically use his daughter as leverage.
Well, yeah, and so he more or less is kind of co-leading the team with Rick Flag, and it looks fucking great, man. It looks funny and irreverent and just all kinds of hilarious jokes and hilarious interactions and stuff like that. It's great.
What do you see? A bird.
Anyway, get off the line. I like that he called him his real Hawaiian name too. That was
Stay off the comms.
Stay off the comms. King Shark, man. King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone.
You hear Nathan Fillion say one of his lines in the
the
preview, so that's cool.
He is arms fall off, man. I don't know. I can't remember his power is basically detachable man or something like that. He can detach his limbs from his body and like control them independently. It's a pretty substantial cast that we know are not all going to make it out alive, because after all, this is the Suicide Squad.
You got Polka Dot Man and
he's so dead ski.
I'm a superhero.
You got what's his name from Saturday Night Live is in it. He's playing a Black Mass. Flula Borg is playing. Who's a hilarious German comedic actor. He's playing Javelin. I mean,
well, then you got like the
Peter Capaldi is playing the Thinker.
Which Renee recognized him. I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah.
When we watched the preview, Renee's like, "That was Capaldi."
Yeah. Yep. It's looking amazing.
Well, I love the scene where they're like, "Is this a fucking dog?"
Yeah.
Like, no,
he's not a dog. He's not a dog. A werewolf. You got me sitting next to a werewolf?
No, he's a weasel. He's harmless. Okay, he's not harmless. He killed like 23 kids, but he.
I'm down, man. I'm down. Let's go see it. And of course, you've got the lovely Margot Robbie returning as Harley Quinn.
Sorry, I'm late. I had to go number 2.
Yeah,
Good to know.
thanks for the information. Good to know. So yeah, looks pretty great. So did we get a date on that movie? I
August
can't
6th.
remember. August 6th. And it will be featured on both HBO Max and in theaters.
That might be the first one I go.
Not Black Widow?
I'm not sure about Black Widow. I want to see it in the theater. I mean, that's one I will probably go see in the theater, honestly. Yeah, because
Okay, because segueing into that, July 9th, Black Widow, and they're saying that it's well worth the wait.
yeah.
The the reviews, the early reviews coming in are saying it's great.
Well, that's
The
one
action
that
is
if I
great.
want to see it, I have to go to the theater. So yeah, I guess
Right.
that is one that will go to the theater.
They're saying it's really fantastic. The action is really good. The characters, the interaction between the characters, the kind of family oriented kind of shit that they get into.
The the
The Black
previews I've
Widow.
seen look fantastic.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And I
yeah.
mean, I'm looking
I'm
forward to it.
I'm jazzed. I'm super jazzed. I think this movie is a long time coming, guys. We've been wanting and needing a Black Widow movie for a very long time, and we finally got one. So, because fuck those guys who say that women can't carry a movie or women can't carry an action movie because that's horseshit.
But honestly, I think Scarlett Johansson has just been fantastic as Natasha.
She's been great. She's been really
I
great.
really enjoy her in that role.
Me too. And honestly, I was skeptical when they first introduced her. I was like, ScarJo as the Black Widow? No, I don't know, man.
Seeing her,
She's been playing the role for 10 years now,
yeah,
and she's doing a great
well,
job.
and going back even to where she first showed up in Iron Man 2, and she takes out Happy in the boxing ring, and Tony's just like, I want one.
No.
Speaking of Tony, I started watching MODOK again because I kind of only watched the first 2 episodes, and then we kind of fell off. And Renee decided that she really wasn't into it, so that I could watch it. So I watched like the next episode, and it really hasn't gotten better yet. So I'm gonna keep watching it and watch the first season. So
yeah, I'm gonna give it at least the first season. I think there's been some really funny moments.
There've been a couple of funnier moments, but really overall, I'm just like I'm not really getting into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much I like this the way they're doing a Marvel slapstick comedy kind of thing here. You know, oh man, I have a hole in my shirt.
Oh,
I love this shirt. This is my Army of Darkness shirt. Army of Darkness. Yeah. I've had this shirt forever. Oh,
but yeah. So Suicide Squad though, August 6th.
August 6th, right around the corner, and then we have, of course, the Black Widow, July 9th. Now, Suicide Squad also will be on HBO Max, or like I said, it'll be on HBO Max. Black Widow will be on Disney Plus. You'll be able to access it, I believe, but it will also be in the theaters.
I think I have a feeling it's probably going to be that premium.
It is.
We have to pay the extra $30 for it.
Correct, and I'm not fucking doing that.
No, I'll go to the theater and pay $10, or actually I have an AMC Stubs membership still, so it's $20 for the month, and I can go see pretty much any movie I want, anytime I want, for free, for that $20.
Man, I have one more subscription service. Man, it's just fucking pissing me off. My subscription.
Well, it's been on mine. I actually it's on hold until whenever I decide to start it back up, and it'll probably be in July.
Well, yeah, theaters have been closed for a year. If they were charging you, that'd be fucking bullshit.
What's funny is AMC is actually doing a thing this week. It's like the week of AMC, and every day I'm getting an update from them on here's what we're doing for cleanliness, and here's what we're doing for seating, and here's what we're doing. Each day it's something different that you look and see what they're doing to try and get people back in the theaters, because honestly, if there is a market that is on the verge of collapse, it is the movie theater.
It's the movie theaters. Yes, absolutely. Now, speaking of COVID preparations and stuff, I mean, Governor Whitmer came on today and talked about. She had a press conference talking about how they have lifted. Michigan is 100% open now. I think there's like, well, maybe 99% open.
Well,
I think there's like
there's
a little bit.
some like the retirement community or the retirement homes and nursing care facilities, things like that.
They're still taking a lot of precautions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like 95% open. We've got, they've dropped the mask mandate almost everywhere.
Yep.
The, almost, pretty much everything is open to full capacity, all kinds of things like that.
The thing is I saw somebody post something, and this is so true. And it's that with all these things dropping and things going, and the mask mandates dropping and all this, it doesn't mean that the virus is gone.
Correct.
It means the ICU has room.
Right. Exactly. Like the instances of transmission and infection are back to a manageable level now.
Right.
So
it means we have room in the ICUs.
Yeah.
It's really what it means.
You still need to be careful. Get vaccinated. Take proper precautions. Don't necessarily, still practice social distancing to some extent. You can hug your friends, but maybe stay away, stay a little further away from the crazy person sneezing and coughing at the grocery store.
Or at Starbucks.
Or Starbucks.
Panera, or wherever you're sitting.
That kind of thing. Be a little more careful, guys. Still be careful. We're not out of the woods yet. You can kind of see the end of the woods, but we're not out of the woods yet. So we do have to be careful about that. There is light near the end.
But only if we continue to be smart.
Correct. Let's stay vigilant, ladies.
Let's face it. People aren't smart.
As people a whole, are dumb. People are dumb.
A person is smart.
Smart. People
are dumb.
Well, people are dumb, panicky animals, and you know it.
Yep.
Name the movie. Come on, Christ.
Men in Black.
That's right. Exactly. Thank you very much. You have.
I am a huge Tommy Lee Jones fan.
You have returned my faith in humanity. Thank you very much to that. I've always liked the Men in Black movies. I even like the newest one with Chris Hemsworth.
I haven't seen that one yet. Actually, I never saw MIB 3.
Really?
Yeah, I did. It's one of those things where when it came out, I don't remember why, but I never actually got to the theater to see it. And then I've never actually caught it on or anything.
Men in Black 3 was so much better than Men in Black 2. Men in Black 1 was good. Men in Black 2 was a little weak, but Men in Black 3, it's so fucking cool, man.
Okay, I'll have to look for it.
Yeah, it was great. Isn't that streaming right now? Josh Brolin as a young Tommy Lee Jones, man, he was so good, really good at it. It was time travel.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
It's on Hulu.
There you go.
Oh, and Stars. I can watch it on Stars.
Okay. I have it on DVD. I mean on Blu-ray.
Because usually if it's on Hulu premium subscription, that means that it's actually on like one of the channels, and it's
right.
And it's actually cut for TV. So, but if it's on Stars, I've got that. So
cool. Do it. It's awesome.
I'll put it on the list of movies to watch when Renee has her surgery.
Renee's having surgery on her shoulder.
Yep.
Yes, on her shoulder from a work injury. So
yeah, she's
that's still a couple weeks away, right?
Yeah, July 7th.
Right.
So yeah, she'll be down for 4 to 6 months. They say is the recovery time.
Damn, dude, that sucks.
Yep.
Well, that just means that Brad will have to hire her an assistant.
Yeah, somebody was asking if there was going to be a helper gorilla that was there to make sure she didn't do anything.
Because it would take it sure does. It would take a gorilla. It would take a gorilla.
Well, she said she's already getting yelled at because now that everyone knows the extent of her injury, whenever she tries to do anything, like she lifts a box and gets people yelling at her.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
name is
his name is
Brad.
Brad.
Right on. Okay, what do we want
Well,
to?
we can get into Loki. I mean, we're over an hour in,
We
so
should get into Loki.
episode 2
You
of
know,
Loki.
the show just keeps getting better and better and better, and
It
it's
was
only 2 episodes in.
it was fucking great. I didn't get a chance to watch it a second time this week.
Me neither.
And I really wanted to because I don't catch everything the first time, and when I rewatch it, I'm able to catch things better. And part of that is because it got me fucking trained to start looking at things in the background now and watching for things.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
But really, one of the things I have to say is with this new episode, I'm wondering what they're doing, and I'm wondering if, well, they're saying that a lot of this is going to be like Marvel's way of writing out all the TV shows that came
Right.
previously, like the Netflix shows and Agents of Shield and Agent Carter and all that. I'm wondering if that's actually the case, or if it's actually that they're finding a way to bring a bunch of things together
Right.
instead. Because this week, holy shit, the multiverse is started.
Yes, I mean, we did to jump ahead into the show. I mean, let's say at the end of the show, it is revealed. I mean, we can get into the details of it, but at the end of the show, it is revealed that the variant of Loki is a woman.
Lady Loki.
They're calling her Lady Loki.
Although there's a lot of speculation on whether or not it's Lady Loki or if it's actually the Enchantress.
Well, actually, actually, the Loki merchandise that's being sold more so in Europe has confirmed her name. It's a replica helmet set on Zavi that includes both Loki's and the variant's headgear, with the site naming the merchandise as a Loki and Sylvie replica helmet set.
Well, and that's the thing.
Right. The set is currently sold out, but the link still shows the name, and it shows like a screenshot of this, that I saw here. It's Sophia DiMartino who's playing her. Made her MCU debut in Loki episode 2. It was easy to jump to the conclusion she was portraying Lady Loki. However, the Disney Plus credits for the Spanish dub potentially spoiled her true identity, Sylvie, aka Enchantress. The new merchandise seems to back this theory up. In the comics, Sylvie is just one incarnation of the Enchantress, given her powers by Loki himself, or potentially entirely created by him. In fact, Loki actually saw a piece of TVA paperwork relating to Sylvie before she was introduced in the series. A variant incident report gave her full name as Sylvie Laufeydotter, which you can see, in one of the things.
Now I want to go back and look at that. Yeah. So now when I watch the second episode time,
it seems the significance of the document slipped Loki's notice, though. It's how this is going to play out remains to be seen. It certainly complicates a lot of things, that's for sure. And from what I understand, she was originally introduced in the comics, the character of Sylvie, in one of the Young Avengers books during, I think it was like the Dark Alliance or Dark Vengeance or something like that storyline in the comics. It was from a bit ago, but that explains a bit. So now what the Lady Loki has done, Loki was able to figure out where she was hiding, or at least potentially where she was hiding, because what they needed to do was figure out a place where the variant would be.
Dark Reign, Young Avengers.
Dark Reign. Thank you very much. So what it was essentially Loki had figured out that a variant could hide in a place in time that was destined to be destroyed. Apocalypses. So if he saw it by seeing the information about Ragnarok, and it was interesting because he was very detached from it. He sees, he saw the stats. He saw 10,000 Asgardians died. He saw all those, virtually wiped out, blah, 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 blah. And so he goes to tell Mobius about it and he's so excited about his theory that he's like, yes, 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 it's very tragic. Anyway, you know.
Yeah.
So he's
Well, I
definitely
love that he's interrupting Mobius's, like, 10 minutes for lunch.
yeah, he's definitely compartmentalizing. So we also see before this and stuff, we also, as a little tidbit, we do see some TVA agents showing up at a Renaissance festival in 1985. And
In Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
yeah, it was not in Osh. It was filmed in Georgia at the Georgia Renaissance
I was
Festival.
wondering which festival it was at, because I actually said something to Renee. I'm like, I wonder what festival they filmed that at.
Now they,
but it was Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yeah, but it took place in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Now they couldn't have been filming it during the actual Ren Fair because, well, it hasn't. When they filmed it, the festival wasn't going on. So they rented the site and then populated it with people. And at the same time, too, there were times when they were walking along, you could see their breath. So it had to have been a colder day. It had to have been kind of chilly. And the Georgia Renaissance Festival happens in early spring in Georgia. So you're not going to necessarily be seeing your breath in Georgia in like, say, mid-April.
ED says he was thinking about you when it happened.
Oh,
must have had a nerdgasm.
I did a little bit because one of my friends was nice regional call out. Yeah, there you go. One of my
it's also the home of one of the original creators of one of the characters or something. Is Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Oh,
that's one of the
I
things
see.
why they did.
Okay. Well, the thing about it is I have several friends that were like, hey, which Ren Fair is that? And then people were calling it, that's Georgia. And there's some, there are people like they spotted some people they knew, some of my Rennie friends that have worked that show. I've never worked Georgia. I've never been to it, but say good things. And so anyway, she, this variant is really smart. I mean, she kidnapped one of the TVA. She has been stealing, and we see what eventually we see why she was stealing all of the kind of reset devices that they had, and she was stealing a lot of their like readout things too, that would open up gateways and everything. So Loki figures out though that she was most probably hiding in places where apocalypses were happening, because no matter what they did, no matter anything, because the place was destined to be destroyed, there was no chance of creating a variant timeline. As you see, Loki gets up on they go to Pompeii, maybe a few minutes before the Vesuvius erupts, and Loki makes a big to do speaking Latin. It appeared, and or ancient Greek. I think it was probably Latin, and there is absolutely no time energy variance at all, And so then they go, and he figures it out. He goes, "Hey, great job!" And they go back to Ravana, and they are like, "I need a strike team." What?
It's where Wendell Vaughn's mother resides.
Wendell Vaughn's mother resides in Oshkosh.
Yes, that's the superhero Quasar.
Right, I know.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's where that's where his mother resides, I guess, is what they said. So they're speculating now whether or not Quasar is going to.
All right. Well, I guess it's entirely possible. So anyway, they figure it out, and then Mobius goes back to Ravana and gets the okay for a strike team to basically hunt down the variant.
Yes.
And they're able to figure out.
Loki figures out where she is.
And it's at essentially like what would be a Walmart, a Rox cart.
Yeah, Rox cart.
Because Roxxon is like the evil corporation of the Marvel universe. That one of many, but the biggest one, the Roxxon oil was like supposed to be the equivalent of Exxon
They
particularly
were they
after.
were a huge competitor of Stark Industries.
Yeah, but they started off as an oil company,
Right.
and then they branched off into many other things. And Roxxon was this very and was extremely corrupt, like really, really corrupt. Like the guy running the company now is a Minotaur.
Yeah.
Like no bullshit, he's a Minotaur, that changes into a human form, and he's like so. Um, he's it's pretty fucking nuts, man. So they go to they create this strike team, and at first it was really funny. There's some other funny shit too, like he's ready to hand Loki back his daggers, and he's like, yes, and then the woman leading the strike
Yeah,
team,
the one who originally pulled him in.
yeah, she's like, I don't think so, and takes them out of his and and they go to this rocks cart that is basically going to be destroyed, decimated by a storm.
It's gonna be hit by a category, I think it was
12 or something.
a category 12 hurricane or something like
Right.
that. I'm like, oh,
Which
what?
which is unheard of.
Yeah.
And it also takes place like a good 5 or 6 years into, like in 2030,
2055 or 2050.
2050.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's
And I remember because Stella remarked that she felt like for 30 years in the future, the bottles and the devices and some of the things that you could see on the shelves in the store looked particularly modern. They didn't look very futuristic. And I'm like, well, I mean, the budgets are only going to go so far. They're not going to necessarily going to be able to fill this entire huge store with futuristic bottles and futuristic product. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, when you really think about it, the aluminum can has not changed much in 50 years.
No, they've been able to actually put a coating on the inside now that doesn't make it taste like tin.
Right.
A lot of
sure. I mean, if anything, like maybe the cans from when we were real little kids didn't have the tapered lip. They were more straight up and down.
Well, and they got rid of the pull tabs. That's the big one. And I remember
originally you pulled them off.
You pulled them off, and a lot of people, like for the rears, they'd pull them off and just drop them inside. And I think now about how nastily dangerous that was.
Right. Plus the fact that, I mean, also the pull tabs also meant sometimes that you'd get a sharp edge and you might touch your lip or something, Not so much anymore. In fact, a lot of people don't realize that one of the things you're supposed to do on a pop can particularly is you turn it around like that and you go put your straw in there and it holds the straw up.
Straw holder.
It's a straw holder. A lot of people don't realize that. So anyway, so I brought that up. I was like, some products just don't change a lot. I mean, you've got something that isn't broke. Why do you fix it? So, so a lot of those things might have not changed a lot. Like, so they're in this store. They know that all these people are going to die, and they are looking for this Loki variant. And the Loki variant finds them.
And starts taking them out.
Yeah, taking them out. Now, the Loki variant, or Sylvie, as she will be now called at this point, Sylvie does choke hazard you doing that. Yeah, no bullshit, man. So the Loki variant is using a form of possession to basically do some of her dirty work.
Bing! Just a little bing.
Little touch, and then all of a sudden she can control that person. She ends up doing that too.
Which is one of the Enchantress's abilities.
Right, exactly. And she ends up using it against, I wish I knew her name, the character's name, but the head of
C218 or whatever
it's kind of the one leading the assault and trying to get this character. And so, and then eventually she passes herself into another person and another person, and then into this monstrously huge
B-15,
guy.
I think.
Okay. And then and then passes into this monstrously huge dude, and then starts to beat the living shit out of Loki. And there's a part of me that was kind of like, wait a minute, that's not about right. Loki, we don't know if Loki can do that trick. I don't think he can. Loki's never really been one for like to
The
mind
when
control
when
stuff.
when he did the mind control stuff, it was using the Mind Stone, or it was using the Tesseract.
Right,
It
exactly.
was using the his scepter.
The
He would
scepter. That's
yeah.
not the Tesseract. The
It's
Mind
not the
Stone.
Tesseract. It was the Mind Stone. Yeah, and he would
Tesseract's a space
yeah
gem.
yeah right. So he was using the Mind Stone to do that. I don't
Right.
think Loki can actually possess someone.
Yeah, it's not his. It's not his bang, man.
He doesn't really make puppets.
I did like the part where he's explaining the difference between like illusion and like transforming himself or
Oh yeah,
shape
and
shifting and
the
stuff.
what did he call it? Um, the magic that he does, where
Yeah,
he creates a complete duplicate of himself, right down to the atomic level.
yeah. And it was like, I mean, oh, but
Replication magic or something like
yeah,
that.
but you already knew that, didn't you? Or something like, and they're like, okay, good, thank you, good to know. It was really funny actually that part where he when they went back to the Ren Fair with Loki and he's like looking around and he's like stalling for time essentially, and he's manipulating Mobius, and it was like, I mean, I like how their relationship is developing, and like it was continuously developing, and then unfortunately, then we get at the end, we get kind of a disappointment, and we'll get to that in a minute. Um, and So anyway, Loki's getting the shit kicked out of him by a human, and at first I'm thinking to myself, the thing is, Loki may not be um, Thor, but he's still a very powerful Asgardian. Loki is probably more powerful than your average Asgardian, like physically. He should be able to take a punch. I mean, like a normal human would just hurt himself punching Loki. Just like if you walked up to Thor and punched him full on in the face, his face probably wouldn't even move, and you'd break your fucking knuckles. Uh, and the same thing with Loki. Loki is an Asgardian, and he's not just a regular Asgardian. He was one of the Asgardian elite. He was a god. He was a half giant, or he's a frost giant. He's all these different things. He's actually a halfling. He's supposed to be a halfling. Like if I remember correctly, he's a halfling. So
He's not really a halfling.
not in D&D terms, but he was one of the names for Loki was Loki halfling, I think it's or something. I may be mistaken, but I remember hearing something about like he was a half giant. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah, he's supposedly half frost giant.
he's half frost giant and half Aesir.
Yeah,
And uh so anyway, he shouldn't have been able this guy unless the variant Loki was enhancing this human with extra power and strength, which is entirely possible. So eventually we do get a full look at the Loki variant, and she pulls the hood down, and it's this woman. It's this blonde woman, and everybody's like, and of course everybody's ooh, ah, what the fuck.
well, I mean, it's been established that that Loki's gender is fluid.
Correct. So they've also talked about like there's been a lot of speculation. There will be people like, oh, is this Loki's daughter? Is she just a variant where she's a female Loki instead of a male Loki, whatever. And then he actually does end up at one point, like Doctor Who, exactly. At one point, he calls her Loki. Is like, should I call you Loki? And she's like, oh, don't call me that name. So she really doesn't associate herself with that name and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a tete-a-tete. They are talking to each other, and he's like, I would never speak to myself in such a manner, and whatnot. And he even says, hey, I'm going to take over the TVA. I'm going to depose the Time Masters, and I'm going to take over. And I could use a lieutenant. And she's like, yeah, bullshit. I mean, and basically calls him on his bullshit because she is probably just as manipulative, just as smart, and just as conniving as Loki is. And she obviously has a really serious plan. She doesn't care about the TVA. She doesn't care about the Time Masters.
She wants chaos.
She wants chaos. And that's what she has given them. And this is why so many people have said that this show is now where the multiverse of madness is coming from.
Well, and that's the thing. So she set up all the time resetters
Yeah.
that she's been stealing.
Right.
She wired them all together.
Correct.
And at one time, she set a timer, and boom, little time doors opened, and they all dropped into different time periods.
Right. And then there's the shot that happened, and then the shot goes back to the Time Variance Authority offices where they're looking at their screens, and all of a sudden there's a massive alert, and now there are 42, because somebody counted them, 42 various time branches have branched off and
of course it's 42.
Yeah, creating creating divergent realities that now the TVA has
quickly escalating to red line.
Right. So they all have to scramble. Now they're not built to be like dealing with like all of these all at once. So it's a pretty big deal what they've done. What this woman has done is created a big mess. And that's the thing. When you create one variance, that time variance may create a second or a third or a fifth or a 10th. So this could lead to a pretty serious branching of the sacred timeline, which will lead to the multiverse, which now, I'm all for because I love the multiverse.
Yeah. Now, so here's the thing. The other speculation Renee and I were talking about, and this is one of the things that I'm thinking, is that the timekeepers don't actually exist anymore.
That's my guess too. I think
that they're not there.
I think the bureaucracy is just running itself.
Yep, I think it is. I think the timekeepers are gone, and they're not running anything.
Right, and the upper people, the judges like Ravana, are just keeping the status quo, and they're doing what they're doing. Because somebody has to, right? The idea is that somebody has to police the timeline,
and that's the thing. The whole idea is that now, because the timekeepers had that sacred timeline, now the TVA's only reason for existence is to maintain the sacred timeline. So if the sacred timeline is no longer maintained and there's no one there to maintain it, they don't have a purpose and they will just cease to exist.
Correct. And that's messed the fuck up. And I mean, they even Mobius even talks about the fact that a lot of it is predicated on his belief that it is that the sacred timeline is pretty much godly, and I kind of dug that. I thought it was okay. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool idea.
Well, and so here's the other thing. So we're getting Loki now. We don't get Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness till.
Correct.
Because of things being delayed and everything like that, it really seems to me that Marvel's falling out of sync. Because now we're going to get Black Widow, which is a prequel. That doesn't matter. But then we're going to get...
Well, that was supposed to come out last year.
Right. But then we're going to get the Eternals, which was also supposed to come out last year.
Correct.
Where does that fall in this? So is it going to be before Loki? Because Loki's going to change everything in the Marvel Universe, I think.
I think to some extent, yes. I think it will.
So I think that now with the movies being delayed so much, that it's throwing their timeline out of sync.
Yeah, but everything. I think ultimately, we're just going to see. We're going to have to wait 6 months or so to see the conclusion of these stories that are being teased and started in these shows. Because, like I said, all the movies that are coming out, the next couple of movies that are coming out, were filmed last year. The year before, that should have come out a year ago. So it just means it's not so much that the timeline, for the Marvel timeline is messed up. It just means we've got to wait 6 months for the stuff they had already planned to come to fruition.
The one that I'm most concerned about fucking with this new timeline thing is actually Thor: Love and Thunder. because that was supposed to come out last.
Yeah, but the thing is they didn't even start filming that until after the pandemic.
Right, but they had
kind
it
of
written.
cooled off.
And it was supposed to come out before Loki came out. So it's supposed to be part of the previous. It's supposed to be before all of this happens. But now it's going to be well past the multiverse stuff. So I'm because it doesn't come out till next November, I think it is.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's no saying that they didn't do a rewrite or at least adjust Love and Thunder to reflect the things that are coming.
Love and Thunder comes out in February
Right.
11th. Doctor Strange is March. So we get Love and Thunder. So we get Black Widow, then Eternals.
We get Spider-Man. Then we get Black Widow. We get Shang-Chi.
No,
Eternals.
we get Shang-Chi's not till oh, you're right. No, Shang-Chi is September. Yes, Shang-Chi is September. So we get Black Widow, Shang-Chi, then Eternals.
Spidey.
No, Spidey's not till next summer.
No, it's December.
Is it?
Yeah.
Spidey is before Doctor Strange?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because Doctor Strange is in Spider-Man. No Way Home.
No. Yeah, you're right. December 17th. I thought that was next year. I thought that was after Doctor Strange. Okay, so that really fucks things up. Okay, yeah, I'm curious to see how they tie everything together now. Because we get there's so many movies coming out now. I mean, we're getting, like I said, we're getting like nine Marvel movies in the next year, the next 12 months.
Yeah.
So we get Black Widow, then Shang-Chi, then Eternals, then Spider-Man, then Thor: Love and Thunder, then Doctor Strange.
Yep.
You're right. Marvel can't fail, Renee. That's
I mean, they literally cannot. It's like if they do, it will create a hole in reality
and create a multiverse.
Right. We should probably wrap things up, guys. It's getting late. Check out Loki episode 3 tomorrow at whenever you want.
One of the other things I do want to bring up, though, they used Bonnie Tyler's what is it? Looking for a Hero or whatever that song is. Again, they've used that before in Marvel stuff. I don't remember exactly where, but I know that they did. But I thought that was actually kind of cool. Holding Out for a Hero, that's what it is. And it was very, very retro.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed that. So
exactly. I also have a little teaser here. They have released the name of the next Transformers movie. It's called Rise of the Beasts. And from what I understand, it is going to bridge the gap between the G1, like the G1 Transformers, with the Maximals, Predacons, and Terracons, alongside returning stalwart Optimus Prime, who will be seen in his G1 iteration. So it's
Dinobots?
No, it's going to be the Beast Wars. Confirmed Transformers include familiar faces Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, plus RC, Mirage, Nightbird, and the new villain Scourge. Among the Maximals, who disguised in prehistoric animal form, are Arizor, Rhinox, and Optimus Primal.
Okay.
Rise of the Beast is set in 1994, with the story evolving out of Brooklyn, New York. The globetrotting action will extend to Machu Picchu. So it's going to, interestingly enough, it's again going to be a retro movie like Bumblebee was, but it's going to be a little further along. Bumblebee took place in like the early 80s or something like that. So I have been meaning to watch Bumblebee. I haven't watched it.
It was okay. I think I watched it on a plane.
That's what I heard. I heard it was fun. It was cute. Also, the Snake Eyes movie is coming up real soon. You want to check that out too. And
why?
You know, it's been here. I've been hearing good things. It hears like it's going to be. It looks kind of
I
cool.
haven't heard any good things about any GI Joe movie.
The second one was much better. The first one stunk up the screen, but the second one was okay.
Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't horrible, you know.
Is that the one with Bruce Willis?
Yes, it was. It was actually. They also recently released a new pick of the new super suits for the Marvel family in the new in Shazam 2. They have made some minor adjustments to the costumes, and where the lightning bolt's a little bit higher up. It's not quite, doesn't come all the way down to the chest. It's a more kind of mid chest and stuff, but the costumes look really fucking cool. They also revealed Helen Mirren as Hespera in her costume, and it looks really cool as well. So I am really looking forward to Shazam 2.
I am too. One of the other things that came out, and I actually haven't had a chance to watch the trailer yet, but the trailer for season 3 of Titans has come out, and they actually have a release date for that as well. August 12th, season 3 will premiere on HBO Max.
I'm gonna have to finish up season 2 then.
Oh, I already have, man. I'm looking forward to season 3. It's been too long. I want to see what happens.
All right.
I really like that show a lot. And I see something here that says, "And will the Joker appear?"
Yeah, there's question about that. So we also have Rick and Morty started this past Sunday. Haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to get into it, and we may have to do some reviewing of the new Rick and Morty. So
I haven't watched. I'm still on season.
Oh, that's
I
right.
just finished season 1, so I got to catch up.
We're gonna have to. We might have to hold off on that then. I mean, dude, the show really is some really, really great storytelling. I've always appreciated the hell out of it.
There's some that I like more than others. I mean, there's some I'm like, that was really lame. And then there's some I'm like,
can't
that
all
was
be
actually pretty
roses.
funny.
Yeah, it can't all be roses, man. So,
all right, let's wrap things up.
Let's wrap things up, guys. So thanks for joining us tonight. Remember, you can download and stream our show at all the places you can find quality podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at iTunes, Google Play Store, Google Play Store. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com. And of course, you can download and stream all of our episodes at nerdswithalcoholshow.com. Guys, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we're right here on Twitch at Drinking Nerds. And then we put the show back up on YouTube a couple of days later, same name of the channel with the same name.
You can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds, Instagram Drinking Nerds, and we are on the Untapped app. If you have that, it's just search for Drinking Nerds. Send us added. Not this week, but next week we will be back for Tavern Nights.
Correct.
Next Monday we'll be back for Tavern Talk, and the following Friday we'll be back for Tavern Nights, provided everybody can make it. It is a holiday weekend. I haven't heard from everyone yet to see whether or not make it.
Right. We may be juggling around some stuff, maybe adjusting it because of the holiday weekend. So,
but we'll see. At birthday cake pebbles.
Fruity
pebbles with.
That's right, motherfucker. Good stuff. All right, legit. Right on, Richie.
That's Octavian.
Yes, it is. That's our Octavian. All right, guys.
All right, so I think on that note.
Until next time.
Slancha. Yeah, it was okay.
It was all right. Could have been better.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.